What's up? Ghost Fictions is here, and we're back again. This is the part 9 of a story where Issei was the grandson of the legendary demon hunter Dante. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more informations. Now, let's get into part 9. Hyoudou residence, morning. Summer break had started, and the Gremory and Sparta peerage were seen doing their daily routine as they all gathered in the kitchen for breakfast. Issei sat at the very end of the table to avoid anyone trying to cling to him, much to the disappointment of the girls, but he was happy to see Gasper out of everyone, who was more confident in himself and could hold a conversation with his peers. Riaz, any plans for summer break? Issei asked, wanting to strike up a conversation with Riaz. Riaz, hearing the question, perked up, wanting Issei to be involved. We're gonna go to the underworld to train, and with that time, I'll use it to go back home and spend some time with my family. Speaking of which, do you want to come? She offered. Issei perked up, wanting the opportunity to go. Yeah, I'd love to, I haven't explored the place, so I'll take the chance. He answered. Vali, overhearing the conversation between the two kings, decided to step in. Can we come too? Vali asked, wanting to stick close to Issei. Riaz was hesitant to answer. Sure. She said and sighed. Issei, hearing the hesitation in her tone, asked. Are you sure about us coming? He said. Riaz gave a good minute of thinking until she reached an answer. Yeah, I'm sure of it, with you guys around, we can train even harder. She answered firmly. Issei nodded at Riaz, satisfied with her answer. It's settled then, when do we go? Issei asked. In a few hours. Riaz answered. Alright. Mom, do you want to come as well? Issei asked. Kalina was almost surprised by the offer, but she relented nonetheless. As long as Riaz is alright with it. She answered. Riaz, seeing the opportunity for her parents to meet Kalina, was more than happy for her to tag along. Of course you can, Kalina-san. Riaz smiled. Alright then. Kalina said. Everyone went back to their rooms and prepared the necessary things they needed for their trip to the underworld, all gathered back in the living room where the Sparta peerage and Kalina had their usual outfits on, and the Gremory peerage wearing the summer version of their uniform. They all went to the nearest train station, where they were faced with an out-of-place looking elevator. What's this? Issei asked, pointing at the elevator. It's customary for devils who haven't been in the underworld to follow standard procedures. Say for you, you may have been in the underworld before with One-Sama and Graphia One-Sama's magic, but you need to be officially recognized as devils to avoid any trouble. Riaz explained. Now, you, Kalina-san, and your peerage should go first, I'll go with you as a guide. Riaz said as Issei and the others complied. They all went inside the elevator with Riaz pulling out a card that confirmed her identity, and the elevator went down a few floors. We're here, just wait for us, and we'll get going. Riaz said as she went up to fetch her peerage. The Gremory peerage went down and grouped up with the Sparta peerage. Alright, we still have to walk to platform 3, let's go. Riaz said as she took the lead. Akeno ran up to Issei and held his hand, surprising Issei. Let me have you for once. Akeno whispered. Alright then. Issei chuckled. Let me have you as well. Vali said, holding Issei's vacant hand. The two queens happily walked with Issei until all of them made it to the train. Everyone situated themselves in the train in comfort. Riaz and Akeno sat next to each other, Kuroka and Kaneko sat next to them, the church duo were in their seats, Kalina and Tiamat sat together in the farthest corner of the cart, Gasper and Kiba sat across each other, Issei was in between Vali and Lavinia, with Vali laying on Issei's lap much to his amusement. And Lavinia rested her head on his shoulder as both girls happily took a nap by their king's side. Well, this is certainly a surprise, princess, a lot of new faces. The voice of an old man was heard. The old man came out of the door in a conductor's outfit. Nice to meet all of you, princess's new servants, I am Ronaldo, conductor of the Gremory private train. Ronaldo spoke and bowed. Oh, Ronaldo, you're mistaken, I only have 2 new pieces, the rest is a whole other peerage. Riaz explained and gave a nod to the church duo, signaling them to introduce themselves to Ronaldo. I'm Asia Argento, Riaz One-Sama's bishop, pleased to meet you, Ronaldo-san. Asia politely introduced herself. I'm Zenobia, her new knight, please treat me well. Zenobia introduced herself. Issei and his peerage introduced themselves to Ronaldo, leaving the old man shocked at Issei in particular. Kalina didn't bother as she concealed her presence, that no one could even tell that she was there, apart from Issei, that is. Such power coming from you, I've only heard of Sparta from legend, despite my old age, I never would have thought to see a living descendant, it's an honor. Ronaldo said. The honor is mine, Ronaldo-san. Issei smiled. Ronaldo took out a scanner of some sort with a monitor and pointed it at the new devils in the train, gaining mixed reactions from the newcomers on the train. Ronaldo noticed this and defused the tension a bit. Worry not, this is to ensure that you all are indeed devils. It checks you and identifies you all as devils so that you may enter the underworld by your own methods. He explained. The machine also records and designates your piece, and the data gathered is registered into the underworld. That's why Ronaldo uses the machine to check all of you, and by the looks of it, you're all good. Riaz explained. Now that you're all registered, you're all free to use the facilities within the train. We have beds you can rest in, a food hall where you can have a meal, and a shower room with laundry commodities, so please use them until we reach our destination. Ronaldo bowed. Thank you very much, Ronaldo. By the way, is Azazel next? Riaz asked. There's no need to, I already did a check on him, he's already sleeping over there. Ronaldo pointed at one of the windows where Azazel soundly slept. The balls on that man, already sleeping in a train where your enemies before rode in. Riaz said amused. Ah, the Governor General of the Fallen sure is peaceful. Ronaldo chuckled and dismissed himself. Half an hour passed on the train ride. The Gremory peerage was passing the time by playing cards with one another. The Sparta peerage was talking amongst themselves, and both kings of the peerages sat next to each other, and Riaz finally had her alone time with Issei and gets all clingy with him. We're nearing my family's territory, what do you expect from it? Riaz asked. Pretty big. Issei answered, taking a sip from his drink. You'd be surprised to see it in full, look out the window. Riaz pointed out. Issei looked outside the window and was presented with a landscape filled with mountains and forests, and inside it was a very large mass of land that was fittingly red. Holy! How big is this place? Issei asked in astonishment. It's about the size of Honshu, Issei-kun. Kiba answered. How's that even possible? Issei followed up. Well, the underworld shares the same amount of surface area as the human world, plus there are no oceans in here, making the land here extremely spacious. Riaz explained. Oh, and my servants can own land within the territory. Riaz added. Wow, that's a huge perk of being a servant. Issei said. Another 10 minutes passed, and the train stopped just outside the Gremory residence. The two peerages along with Kalina, who finally let her presence be known, got out of the train. Vali took a glance at her surroundings and noticed that Azazel wasn't with the group. Is Oz gonna come here? She asked. Nah, I'm gonna go to a meeting with Serena, you all enjoy your time there. Azazel said as the train went away with him. Say hi to my sister for me. Riaz said as Azazel gave her a thumbs up in response while the train faded in the distance. Welcome back, Riaz. Oju-sama. Line of soldiers greeted Riaz as fireworks exploded in the background, an orchestra started playing, and a flying creature with someone on it waving a banner flew above the group. Riaz and her peerage were used to the treatment, except Asia, who was covering her ears from all the noise, and Zenobia, who just started rapidly blinking. Issei and his peerage on the other hand were a little surprised by the greeting, and Kalina wasn't in the best of moods after hearing a lot of noise. The group was presented with a huge palace that had the Gremory insignia on it, the two huge doors open, and a line of butlers and maids inside. Welcome home, Riaz Aoju-sama. The line greeted Riaz again. Thank you everyone. Riaz gave the line a warm smile. Grafia walked up to the group. I'm happy to see your safe return, Oju-sama. Now, all family members of Riaz-sama, please board the carriages, as well as Issei-sama's. We will go to the main residence this way. Grafia gestured as multiple carriages arrived. Everyone boarded the carriages, and the ride to the main Gremory residence was no longer than 20 minutes. Riaz and her peerage went down first, followed by Issei and his peerage along with Kalina. As they disembarked the carriages, they were presented with an even bigger palace. The gigantic doors opened through magic, and the group was presented with an adorable child in the Gremory's signature crimson hair in front of them. Welcome home, Riaz-ni-sama. The boy greeted as he ran to embrace Riaz, the latter kneeling to reciprocate the hug. Hello Milikas, I'm back, look at how much you've grown. Riaz said while lovingly patting Milika's head. Riaz, who's that? Issei asked, curious as to who the boy was. This is Milika's Gremory, my and Serena Wani-sama's little brother. Riaz said, and playfully pinched Milika's cheek. It's nice to meet you all. Whoa, are you Issei Hyoudou? Milika said in admiration as he looked at Issei. Issei was surprised that the boy knew him. Yes, I am, but how did you know my name? He asked. A big smile crept up on Milika's face. Did Riaz-ni-sama or Serena-ni-sama not tell you? You're super famous in the underworld. You caught the attention of all the devils here. He said with enthusiasm, amusing Issei. Is that so? Well, I better prepare for paparazzi. Issei chuckled and fist bumped with Milika's. Can I also see your weapons? I wanted to see it up close when I saw your fight riser. Milika said with stars in his eyes. Of course, you can. Issei smiled as he cycled through his entire arsenal. Cool, and you got new ones too. Milika started to fanboy over Issei. Everyone in the group had a surprised expression, especially Issei's peerage. They knew Issei as a rough-spoken and easygoing warrior, but never would they think to see him interact with a child so wholesomely and polite. That's quite enough, Milikas, we still have to get situated in our rooms. Riaz said as she held Milika's hand. Oh, alright. Milikas answered in a disappointed tone. Riaz, welcome home, dear. A woman's voice was heard. Hello, mother, I have returned. Riaz smiled. Riaz's mother turned her gaze to Issei. Ah, you must be Issei Hyoudou. I'm Riaz's mother, Venelana Gremory, pleased to meet you. Venelana gracefully introduced herself. It's a pleasure to meet you, Venelana-sama. Issei reciprocated a greeting and bowed. My, quite the gentleman, Riaz, you really hit the jackpot with this one. Venelana giggled as she teased her daughter. Riaz's cheek went red after Venelana's remark, mother. She softly sighed. Venelana giggled at her daughter's current state. Oh, I'm just playing around, anyway, please do enjoy your stay in our home. She said and left with Milikas. Hours pass as the Gremory and Sparta peerage along with Kalina situate themselves in their rooms. Eventually, they are all called down to the dining room for dinner with Riaz's family. They all sit down around a huge table as butlers and maids begin serving them their food for the night. Please enjoy yourselves, I assure you that our cooks have prepared meals that suit your tastes. Zyodika spoke as he and his family began to eat. Riaz and Issei along with their peerages and Kalina ate in comfortable silence until Zyodika struck up a conversation with Issei. Issei-kun. Zyodika called out. Yes, Zyodika-sama. Issei said. How would you like a souvenir? Zyodika offered with a smile. I'd love that. Issei said. Zyodika rang a bell by his hand and a butler immediately went to his side. You called, Zyodika-sama? The butler asked. Yes, I'd like to prepare a castle for Issei-kun here. Zyodika casually said. As you wish. Which style would you like to be built in, my lord? The butler asked. Zyodika-sama, is the castle the type that you put inside snow globes? Issei asked, earning a chuckle from Zyodika. I would never give such a measly gift to you, Issei-kun, I'm talking about a full-blown castle, along with your plot of land in our territory. Zyodika proudly said. Issei's mind was in disarray after hearing Zyodika's claim. Issei glanced over at his mother, hoping for a little bit of guidance, but all he got were 2 thumbs up and a grinning Kalina. Issei sighed but made his decision. Alright, I accept. He said. Which style? It is your castle after all. Zyodika asked. Japanese, and please add my family's insignia to it. Issei answered and gave an illustration of the insignia. You heard him. Zyodika said to the butler. As you wish, my lord. The butler bowed and walked out of the scene. Why the sudden gift? Issei asked amused. Zyodika took a sip of his drink. It's only fitting for someone with your status, he said. Your place of stay might as well look the part. Plus, it's your reward from us. You and your peerage acted as the vanguard when the Cows Brigade attacked the peace conference and held the line against Kakabiel when he attacked our school. Your deeds have reached us and made us grateful to you. It is only right that you are compensated accordingly. Thank you, Zyodika-sama. Issei stood up and bowed. You're very welcome. He smiled. Everyone at the table chatted for a while until they were all finished eating and went back to their rooms. Issei was getting ready to go to sleep when he heard a soft knock on his bedroom door. Who's there? Issei called out. It's me, Vali, she replied. Come on in, Issei said, his curiosity piqued. Vali entered his room, wearing her comfortable sleepwear, a loose white shirt and blue shorts that reached just above her knees. What's up? Issei asked. Vali looked a bit sheepish at Issei, not being used to the gentle atmosphere. I feel a bit lonely in my room. I'm used to sleeping alone, but tonight, I just couldn't shake the feeling without some company. Suo, can I sleep with you, just for tonight? She requested. Issei smiled at his queen's request. I understand. Come here then. He opened up his blanket, inviting Vali to join him. Vali nestled into Issei's embrace as they cuddled together. How's that? Issei whispered softly. Vali's face lit up with a gentle smile. I love it. You're so warm. She leaned in closer to Issei. Let's get some rest then, Issei suggested, his voice filled with tenderness. He kissed Vali goodnight and they settled down, enveloped in each other's embrace. In Issei and Vali's mindscape, Drake and Albion had the rare opportunity to talk things out through their host's intertwining magic energy. As the twin heavenly dragons appeared, a field materialized out of a blank space. So, Albion, what brings you here? Drake spoke. I'm not entirely convinced about our hosts, you know. Albion sighed. Why not let them be? It's about time our rivalry ended. Drake shrugged. Why are you so lenient with your host? Is he truly as powerful as you claim? Albion asked, sounding agitated. When are you going to accept reality, Albion? Let me tell you, even without me sealed within him, he could take on either of us. Drake responded firmly. Albion was visibly shocked by the statement. How can you be so sure? He's a descendant of Sparta, haven't you forgotten, White One? And he carries the blood of another heavenly dragon. Drake explained. I know, but he hasn't displayed that power in the slightest. Do you think he's intentionally holding back? Albion speculated, though it was quite obvious to him. Yes, he is holding back. He doesn't want to draw too much attention from other races, and he hasn't faced a strong enough opponent to bring out his full power. The first part of his plan has already failed, and I find it quite amusing. Drake chuckled. And what about your host, Albion? What's going on in the mind of that battle maniac? Drake asked. She has experienced a great deal of darkness in her life, especially at a young age. The sheer amount of darkness would give anyone chills. She uses fighting as a way to escape those memories. It's almost miraculous that those experiences haven't tainted her heart. Albion spoke with dread in his tone. I hate to admit it, but your host helps her forget, even if only temporarily. He added. That's why I want to put an end to this petty rivalry of ours. We reside within our strongest hosts, and somehow, they have become mates. Why don't we call it even? It's quite clear who the stronger one is. So, a truce. Albion said with hesitation. Precisely. If there's anyone in this world who can bring your host out of her darkness, it's mine. Bringing her into his peerage was the first step to set things in motion. According to what you've told me, she has been used against her will, never experiencing familial or romantic love. Issei is the one who can awaken these feelings within her, and the family she has been missing is being built within Issei's peerage. We may have remained silent for a while, but I'm certain you've been monitoring your host's actions when she interacts with mine. Drake confidently replied. Indeed, she appears happiest when she's with your host. She may not show it directly, but your host can read her well. But Drake, are you absolutely sure about this? Albion asked with uncertainty in his tone. Look, Albion, your host is a descendant of one of the original devils, and mine is a descendant of one of the most powerful devils in history. If anyone can empathize with her, it's undoubtedly my host. When have you been so open, Drake? I've said it before, Albion. Raising Sirzechs brought a new perspective to my life. I never truly understood the concept of having a family until then. Sirzechs yearned for a family because he never knew his own, and he showed me the joys of parenthood. We both recall that many dragons sought our guidance, but most of them failed. Sirzechs, however, was different. He sought strength not just for himself, but for those he holds dear. He was determined to create his own family, and he succeeded. Issei is living proof of his ideals, and I will stand by him until his last breath. Drake spoke with pride in his voice. Alright then, I have no choice but to support Vali. It's time I remove the suppression I imposed on her emotions. Albion reluctantly agreed, though in his mind he admits that Drake's little speech moved him. Suppression? Drake asked out of curiosity. She asked me to suppress her feelings except for the thrill of battle, but now that I'm removing it, expect her to become more upfront with her actions. I see. I better inform my host then, considering she's part dragon now. Drake poked a little fun at Albion for emulating him. You bet. She's going to want to confront your host head-on. Vali, well snuggled into Issei, felt her emotions flood through, making her tighten her embrace on her king. Unbeknownst to them, Tiamat, Kuroka and Lavinia were outside Issei's room. Shall we join them, girls? Tiamat asked. Yeah. Lavinia and Kuroka said in unison. The three other members of Issei's peerage joined in, ending with Issei being surrounded by his entire peerage, with Vali snuggled onto his chest, Lavinia and Tiamat locked onto both his arms, and Kuroka curled up in between his legs. Issei woke up early in the morning to the sight of his peerage surrounding him. He slithered his way out of bed and got prepared for the day, hoping to at least train with Gasper, but to his surprise, he was summoned to the living room of the residence by Zeoticus, where he was presented by Zeoticus himself, Venelana and Kalina, who were having a friendly chat. I'm here, oh and good morning. Issei greeted the adults. Mornin' sleepyhead. Kalina said amused. The good morning to you as well, Issei-kun. Zeoticus said, and Venelana gave the boy a friendly nod. What am I here for? Issei asked. Ah, the Phoenix family has requested your presence. The mistress of the house would like to talk things over with you if you agree to at least. Zeoticus explained. I see. Then I'll go. I do feel like I owe them an apology for nearly killing their son. Issei rubbed the back of his head. Splendid, there's transportation ready for you outside. Venelana said. Alright, please tell my peerage and the others where I went, I don't want to worry them. Issei requested as the adults gave him a nod and went out. He's rather dashing in that outfit of his. Where did he get that coat, Kalina? Venelana asked. His father made it along with a weapon before he passed, Kalina answered. Oh, I'm sorry if I brought up bad memories. Venelana slightly bowed her head. Felina waved her hand dismissively. It's fine, Sirzechs is long gone. Issei may not have felt what having a father is, but the tokens Sirzechs left for him make him a part of Issei's life, even if it's through material things. Kalina smiled. The Gremory pair were amazed at Kalina's compassion and understanding nature towards her family, resulting in their respect for Kalina growing. Alan sensed the change of mood in the room. Why don't we talk about Riaz and Issei? I want both of your opinions on them. She proposed with a grin. Venelana's eyes lit up with excitement upon hearing Kalina's proposal. Ooh, this calls for some tea. She said, knowing that their discussion was going to be very interesting. The maid immediately went in and served them all tea, and the adults went on about Issei and Riaz's relationship. So, Kalina, how was Riaz with Issei? Venelana asked. She's been amazing, outwardly direct with Issei with just the right amount of confidence, though I have to say, she does act a little spoiled sometimes. Kalina admitted. That is true about her, most high-class devils are prideful about their position, and some spoiling from Serena and I, but I'm confident that your son changed that in her, since she's looking stronger than ever. Zeoticus commented, noticing the rise of power from his daughter. I agree, and with their time here in the underworld and all the time in the world, who knows how powerful they can get. Kalina said after sipping her tea. But we have to know the most important part, do you approve of their relationship? Venelana asked, she already approved of them. Of course I am, they look good together and do well together, but do know that she has a lot of competition. Kalina chuckled. The Gremory couple couldn't hold back their little laughs. Oh, of course we do, polygamy is a common occurrence here after all. Venelana said with Zeoticus nodding. I see, then I have nothing to worry about then. Kalina responded, finishing her serving of tea. Phoenix residence. We have arrived, Issei-sama. The chauffeur said to Issei. Alright, thank you for the ride. Issei said as he got out of the vehicle. Issei went through the gate straight towards the door of the Phoenix residence. The palace was a tad smaller than the Gremory's, but had their hellfire as the main piece for decor. Issei was presented by a pair of huge doors where Ravel greeted him. Issei-sama, we were expecting you. She said with a bow. Hello, Ravel, beautiful as always. Issei said while Ravel had a blush on her face. Thank you for the kind words, please follow me, my mother is waiting for you. Ravel gestured. Issei noticed one of the rooms they were walking by and felt a familiar presence. Hey, Ravel, is that your brother in that room? He pointed. Yes, ever since you defeated him, he's been afraid of you in particular, the mere mention of your name gets him rattled up and locks himself in there. Ravel sighed in disappointment. I see. Issei said with a chuckle. We're here. Ravel opened the door to a room where Lady Phoenix sat. Welcome to our home, Sekiruyute. I hope you find it to your liking, Ravel's mother greeted Issei. It's a pleasure to meet you, Phoenix-sama, Issei bowed respectfully. Lady Phoenix, a young woman with blue eyes, blonde hair neatly styled in a bun with a porcelain-like complexion, and was dressed in an orange gown adorned with white and gold accents, accompanied by a fair amount of jewelry. Please, take a seat. I have something worth your time. Ravel dear, fetch our guest something to eat if you would, Lady Phoenix requested. Right away, mother, Ravel responded and left the room. We can wait for her. She has prepared a dish she would like you to taste. Yufufufu, Lady Phoenix giggled. I see. I would also like to apologize for nearly ending your son's life, Issei stood up and bowed his head. There's no need for you to apologize. Our son needed a reality check and you most certainly delivered it. He was the most arrogant among our children and you put him in his place and we are grateful for that. He could use a few lessons from you. Despite the reputation you gained from your family and your status as the Red Dragon Emperor, you are quite modest for someone expected to be dominant and arrogant by nature. Lady Phoenix complimented Issei. Perhaps it's the culture I grew up in, Issei replied, recalling the Japanese mannerisms he adopted. I've brought the food, Ravel said, entering the room carrying a tray. Ravel served Issei a slice of her chocolate-flavored cake, which he found to be incredibly delicious. Wow, this is the best cake I've ever tasted. Issei exclaimed happily, causing Ravel to blush. Thank you, Issei-sama. I worked really hard on that cake. Ravel replied, covering half her face with the tray. Now, onto the main topic, Sekiruyute. Phoenix-sama, I'd like you to drop the titles. Issei is fine. Issei interrupted, finishing the slice of cake rather quickly. Alright then, Issei. I would like to trade bishops with you, Lady Phoenix said. Issei's first thought was that they would try to take Kuroka, but he was confident that they didn't know of her presence in his peerage. And who would you like to trade for? He asked cautiously. I am not looking for a new member. As you know, you defeated my son in combat. Ravel requested that I trade pieces with his older brother, and I agreed. This technically makes her a free piece, as I do not compete in raiding games. Under these conditions, she would like to be traded into your peerage. Lady Phoenix dropped a bombshell on Issei. Issei carefully considered the decision, realizing he didn't know much about Ravel. However, Lady Phoenix had more to pitch for her daughter. I'd like to add that she's a genius tactician. Riser's peerage was already formidable, but with her strategic mind, she led his peerage to a near-perfect record in the games. Lady Phoenix explained. Upon hearing Lady Phoenix's words, Issei was immediately sold. While his peerage consisted of powerful individuals, they lacked coordination, including himself, as he often preferred to work alone. Alright. We have a deal. Issei agreed, retrieving his box of evil pieces and pulling out a bishop piece. Splendid. Lady Phoenix softly clapped her hands together. Issei handed the piece to Lady Phoenix, completing the ritual for the trade, and officially inducted Ravel into his peerage. Welcome to the team, Ravel. Issei smiled warmly. I hope to meet your standards, Issei-sama. Ravel graciously replied. Is there anything else? Issei asked. No, but do know that she will attend the same school as you. Lady Phoenix informed him. Alright, see you soon, Ravel, Issei waved as he teleported out. He's quite different from what you described him to be, Ravel. I expected him to be more brazen, but instead, he acted like a high-class devil, a good one at that. Lady Phoenix remarked. Indeed. I even anticipated him to be more arrogant than my older brother, but he treated me with utmost respect and kindness, Ravel said, cupping her cheeks with her hands. Lady Phoenix giggled. He's quite the glutton too, he devoured that cake of yours quite fast. She added. Next day, Gremory residence. Issei and Riaz are lounging about in the living room until Riaz thinks about the upcoming events in the underworld. Ice. Riaz called out. Yeah? Issei replied. Since you have a peerage, why don't you attend the Young Devils gathering? Riaz offered. I'm not one for social events. Issei shrugged, taking a sip of his tea. Come on, it'll be nice to meet the other Young Devils, and you might find a match to fight in the games there. Riaz said, piquing Issei's interest. They better not be a pushover then. When's the meeting? Issei asked. Later in the evening, be sure to bring your peerage. Riaz said. Sure. Issei answered. Issei called his peerage to the Gremory residence's garden, with the exception of Ravel, who was sure to attend the gathering. So, what's this for? Vali was first to ask. This is very last minute, but are you all okay with attending the Young Devils gathering later? Issei asked. A wave of silence passed as the members of Issei's peerage gave the event some thought. Sure, why not? Yeah, I'm in. I'm going, Naya. I'm in too, I'm getting excited already. Tiamat, Vali, Kuroka, and Lavinia answered. Great, Riaz said that there's one that can give us a good brawl, so there's that. Issei said. The evening came as Issei along with the male members of the Gremory peerage were seen waiting for the girls to arrive. What do you expect to happen in the gathering? Kiba asked. I don't have any expectations for it yet, but I do hope to see the guy Riaz said can give us a good fight. Issei answered. I see, I'm sure you can defeat him. Kiba said in a confident tone. We'll see. Issei said. The ladies from both peerages arrived wearing their usual outfits. Let's get going. Issei gestured. Aye. Vali tugged on Issei's sleeve. Yeah? He answered. Can we ride your motorcycle to the gathering? Vali bashfully said. Alright, let's go then. A flustered Issei replied. Issei summoned Cavalier in its original form, and he and Vali boarded the vehicle. We'll be going ahead then. Issei said as the engine of Cavalier roared to life and took off. Ah, young love. Kalina said, jump scaring everyone. Kalina-san, Riaz exclaimed. What? I'm only here to see you off, have fun in there, and look after Issei for me. Kalina said, amused. That's what we're here for. Tiamat giggled. The Gremory peerage along with the remainder of the Sparta peerage took off to the venue where they met up with Vali and Issei, who were missing. Where could those two be? He must have hidden him and Vali's presence. Tiamat pondered. Ah, I got their trace, they're in the nearby forest there. Kuroka pointed. Oh boy, I have a feeling what those two are doing, no wonder Vali requested him to ride his bike. Tiamat sighed. Which is? Riaz spoke. I'm sure you know as well, Riaz. Tiamat said, amused. Oh. Yeah, an unhinged Vali and Issei alone in a forest, what could go wrong? Riaz deadpanned. Yeah. I'll go after them, you all can wait for us here, Naya. Kuroka said as the others nodded. Kuroka followed the trail to a fairly dark spot in the forest, where she spotted two pairs of glowing eyes, one crimson, the other blue. Using her enhanced vision, her suspicions held true when she saw Issei sitting beneath one of the trees with Vali cradled on him. Well, what do we have here? Kuroka asked, startling Issei and Vali as their lips were about to touch. Oh come on. A very flustered Vali exclaimed and separated from Issei. Don't even make up excuses, Vali, I was watching the two of you for a good while, Naya. Kuroka said. Very unfortunate for Whitey here. Issei poked fun at his queen. Ugh, shut up will you, and here I thought you were the dominant one. Vali responded in kind. Stop it you two, we still have a gathering to attend. Kuroka said while gesturing the two to follow her. The three soon came back to the others and entered the venue, where the Grimoire peerage, Tiamat and Lavinia were all waiting. Tiamat, noticing the slight flushness on Vali's face, asked. So, what happened, Kuroka? These two were being extra spicy, Naya. Kuroka said. Enough about that, let's go in. Issei said as he and Vali entered through two big doors. Is this where all the young devils are? Issei asked. Yes, and for the love of Lucifer don't go in and start fights out of the blue. Ria said. No promises. Issei and Vali said in unison. As the Sparta peerage entered the room, all eyes turned towards them as their group exuded an aura of power. Riaz couldn't help but find the situation amusing. Looks like you've become quite popular. She remarked. Issei let out a sigh. Give me a break. I'm not exactly thrilled with all the attention. He replied. Can't do much about it, you did just saved us a lot, and if that doesn't deserve recognition, then I don't know what does. Riaz said. Sona was among the crowd and approached the two. Hello, Ice, Riaz. Sona greeted. Issei spotted Ravel approaching him and the rest. Greetings, Issei-sama, a surprise to see you here in the gathering of young devils. Ravel bowed. I was promised to see someone who could give us a good fight. Issei answered in an excited tone. Us? Sona asked. Yeah. Oh right, Tiamat and the others only know about this, but here she is, Ravel Phoenix, my newest addition to the peerage and second bishop. Issei proudly said, and Ravel herself had a proud look on her face. Is that why you were gone yesterday? Riaz asked. Exactamundo, she was traded into her mother's peerage, then she requested that she get traded to mine. I saw nothing bad if I took her in, plus we needed a tactician. We may win battles with brute force, but we needed some coordination. Issei explained. Makes sense, Ravel is known to be a genius tactician, but I'm surprised that she was traded into your peerage. Riaz asked with Sona nodding in agreement. Riaz? A voice called out. Sirzechs. How long has it been, cousin? Riaz asked. Sirzechs is a handsome young man with violet eyes and short black hair. He has a muscular frame and is exceptionally tall. It's been a good while, Riaz. Sirzechs shook hands with Riaz. Sirzechs shifted his gaze to Issei. Oh, is this the famous Issei Hyoudou? He asked. Yes, I am. Issei politely spoke. Pleasure to meet you, I'm Sirzechs Bale, next head of the Bale family. Sirzechs also shook hands with Issei. When Issei saw Sirzechs at first, he was 100% sure that this was the guy Riaz said could give him a good scrap. His physique, attitude and commanding presence he had were all prime tells for Issei was sure that he was not someone to not take lightly. Sirzechs, would you come out of the place? Riaz asked. It's way too noisy and chaotic in there. Sirzechs sighed. Have the others arrived already? Riaz followed up. Yeah, Aguirre's, two of the Asteris and Zephyr are in there, with some other families, though seeing Laisha in there was a surprise to me. Sirzechs said. I see, shall we go in? Riaz offered to everyone. Yeah, let's go. Issei said as the rest of the group followed. As they approached the doors, a sudden commotion caught their attention. A table came hurtling toward them, but Issei's reflexes kicked in and activated Royal Guard to intercept and obliterate the flying object. Amazing, what was that ability of yours? Sirzechs said. It's Royal Guard, one of my combat styles. I block an attack perfectly and send it right back at someone with more force than the original. Issei explained. Fascinating. So this is the Sparta's way of combat. Sirzechs rubbed his chin. Well, one of them adopted this, then there's me. Issei said. I see, I look forward to seeing you in action, Issei Hyoudou. Sirzechs said. Could you drop the last name? I'm not one for formalities, so Issei is fine. Issei said amused. Very well, Issei. Sirzechs had a grin on his face. If you'll excuse me, I need to take care of this mess. Sirzechs said as he walked off. Issei grabbed Sirzechs' shoulder. No, let me. I want to see what the competition looks like, he said. Alright then. Sirzechs stepped back as Issei walked off towards the ruckus. Sirzechs stood beside Riaz. So, Riaz, how strong of a warrior is he? Sirzechs asked. Very strong, and you haven't even seen him use his sacred gear. Riaz answered. Do you know anyone in his peerage? I want to scope him out. Sirzechs admitted. Riaz listed the members, impressing Sirzechs with their impressive backgrounds and abilities. He has the White Dragon Empress as his queen, Ravel Phoenix, and former SS-class Stray Devil Kuroka as his two bishops, the Dragon King Tiamat, and a Magician Longinus-class Sacred Gear user, Lavinia Rinai, taking both his rook pieces. Riaz listed out. Unbelievable, all those big names and he hasn't competed once. Sirzechs said in disbelief. You could say that his sheer power attracts the strong to him. Riaz answered. Oh, and there he is about to ruin some poor soul's day. Riaz deadpanned. See? The fights come to him, Riaz. Tiamat said, amused with Riaz massaging her temples. Issei was presented with a banquet hall completely destroyed, the decor, furnishing, and even the walls weren't safe from the devils inside. Take this. One of the devils cast an attack towards a female devil. Issei immediately took to the front and used royal guard to counter the attack. What the hell? The devil exclaimed, his frustration evident. Issei taunted. I wouldn't do that if I were you, bub. How dare you interrupt me? I was about to hit the daggers, bitch. The devil's anger flared. Issei ignored the other devil's outburst and turned his attention to the girl he had just saved. Are you alright? He asked, genuine concern in his voice. The girl nodded, regaining her composure. Why yes, thank you. I'm Sirzechs Gares, she introduced herself. Sirzechs, a beautiful young lady in her late teens, possessed long pale greenish blonde hair, pink eyes with a slit shape, and glasses that exuded an air of coldness. Pleasure to meet you, Sirzechs. I'm Issei Hyoudou, but you can call me Issei, he said, gently kissing her hand. Sirzechs blushed at the gesture. Oh my, quite the gentleman. Interrupting their interaction, the persistent voice of another devil rang out, demanding attention. Hey. Don't ignore me. Issei looked over, feigning ignorance. Who are you again? I'm Zephyr Glaciolabolas, the devil introduced himself, sporting dark magical tattoos on his face and upper body. His green eyes and hair matched, and his outfit featured jingling and clanging ornaments on his trousers. With an uninterested tone, Issei replied, alright, not so nice to meet you and goodbye. Fueled by anger and pride, Zephyr charged toward Issei, determined to engage in combat. Anticipating his opponent's actions, Issei quickly activated Balrog's ignition mode, unleashing its fiery power. He reared his foot back and delivered a thunderous flame-powered kick directly to Zephyr's torso, causing burn damage and sending him hurtling toward a nearby wall, leaving a perfectly shaped hole in his silhouette. As Issei surveyed the divided group of devils, still eager for a fight, he felt the need to step in as a mediator. Alright, if you're still keen on killing each other, you'll have to go through me first. It doesn't matter if you take me on a one-on-one or all at once, Issei declared, releasing his overwhelming aura, causing even Sirzechs to tremble in its presence. Issei made his way back to Riaz and the others where he was greeted by Sirzechs, who had a fascinated look on his face. What's up? Issei asked. Quite the display back there, and were those gauntlets your weapons? Sirzechs asked. Yeah, well, one of them, can't show everything I have. Issei chuckled. I see, if you ever compete in the games, I definitely look forward to facing you. Sirzechs excitedly said. For sure, you sure look like a tough one to crack. Issei said. Call the staff please, I won't be able to have tea with Riaz and Issei here. Sirzechs spoke to one of the devils. The hall was repaired as if nothing had happened to it. Issei, Riaz, Sona and Sirzechs went around and greeted numerous young devils. Issei especially was surrounded by fanboys and fangirls alike, who all wanted to speak with the legendary Dark Knight's descendant. Are you for real? You have the Dragon King Tiamat under you? One of the devils asked. Yes, getting her was a huge hurdle, I had to fight her into submission. Issei answered. What about the SS class stray devil? How'd you get your hands on her? Another devil asked. Well, I had to seek an audience with Lucifer Sama, showed them evidence of her innocence, and everything went smoothly from there. Issei explained. Leisha approached the crowd. Hello Issei. She greeted. Ah, Leisha, I'm surprised to see you here. Issei said. Beelzebub Sama requested that I go here, it was frustrating, to say the least, but with you here, it's not that bad anymore. Leisha smiled. I'm flattered. Issei smiled back. That's quite the outfit you have, I've never seen you in that style before, how come? Leisha asked. Did you really think I'd go here in my school uniform? Issei chuckled. I see, how's your peerage looking? Did you find any new members yet? Leisha followed up. Oh, there's quite a lot, I'm missing 2 knights and all my pawns. Issei said. Would you mind telling me who are the new additions? Leisha requested. For sure. I have the White Dragon Empress as my queen, Lavinia Renai, a powerful magician, and Sacred Gear user as my second rook, and former SS class stray devil Kuroka and Ravel Phoenix are both my bishops. Issei listed out. Oh my, I did hear from Uncle that you had an audience with him and Lucifer Sama to prove her innocence, quite the noble act. Leisha praised the boy. I only did what was right and to reunite Kuroka with her sister. Issei explained. You have all these powerful beings, and with the addition of Ravel Phoenix, it's unfair, to be honest, well it wasn't even fair, to begin with. Leisha giggled. The Sparta peerage is seen sitting around a table as they discuss their current affairs. Ugh, this place is so boring, can't we fight anyone in here? Vali said in a frustrated tone. Manners now, Vali, you don't want to give our group a bad image. Tiamat spoke. She's right, Vali, look at Issei there, I'm sure that we'll rarely see this side of his, why not savor it? Lavinia said. True, but this is going nowhere, it's all boring. Vali sighed. We'll get there, peace for long periods is rare in the supernatural Naya. Kuroka said amused. I'm just hoping that it soon comes. Vali sighed again. When is this stupid rating game anyway, Tiamat? Vali asked. It's quite a long way to go until the Mao announces it, so we'll have to wait. Tiamat answered. Question. How does Issei-sama usually act around you people? Ravel asked. The Issei you're seeing right now is just a facade, the real him is rather brash, Ravel, and welcome to the team by the way. Tiamat answered. I see, also, is he looking for a love interest? Ravel innocently asked. All the members of Issei's peerage giggled at their new member's naivety. Oh, Ravel, he doesn't lack those. Tiamat answered. Isn't he supposed to only have one? Ravel added. You forget that he's a dragon, and dragons, dear Ravel, can have multiple mates, knowing their stamina and all. Tiamat answered again. I see. All I can hope for is that I meet his expectations for me. Ravel sighed. No need for the long face, Ravel, Issei himself said it, we needed someone to coordinate us in battle, and you certainly fit the bill, I'm Lavinia Rinai by the way. Lavinia introduced herself to Ravel. Nice to meet you Rinai-sama. Ravel politely answered. Oh, drop the formalities please, we're all equal in here, Lavinia is fine. Lavinia smiled. And the rest are? Ravel asked the group. Ali. Kuroka Naya. You already know me, but I'm Tiamat. The rest introduced themselves to Ravel. A pleasure to meet you all, I hope we get along. Ravel smiled. Issei, Riaz, Sona and Sirzechs are seen sitting together around one of the tables in the hall, where they await further announcements about the upcoming events. Issei, I haven't gotten a clear answer but do you plan on competing in the games? Sirzechs asked. I do, things get a little stale without some action, so the rating games sound great to me. Issei answered. I see. Sirzechs said. I'm just hoping to not face you in the field, Ice. Riaz said amused. I agree with Riaz. Sona said adjusting her glasses. Well, looks like Sirzechs and I are gonna have a blast in the games. Issei said. You bet, just make sure not to fall off the ladder. Sirzechs chuckled. Oh, that's not option. Issei said amused. That's the spirit. Sirzechs patted Issei's back. A member of the staff opened the doors. Apologies for the long wait, but the mass and the elders are now ready for all of you. They announced. Finally. Riaz spoke as she and the rest left the banquet hall. They were led to a room where all the elders and all four of the Mao were present, and the tension in the room was something Issei was not enjoying and resorted to concealing his presence. Issei along with the other young devils and his efforter who made a surprisingly quick recovery, yet the burn marks from Issei's attack remained on him, were gathered around in front of the elders en masse. Serena smiled after noticing Issei's attendance with the other young devils. Greetings, young devils, we have all gathered you here to impart a crucial duty for all of you, the duty to guide and protect the next generation of devils. And this meeting is conducted annually to meet new faces. Serena spoke. One of the elders noticed the injured efforter. It would seem that they already had a scuffle in the banquet hall. He sarcastically said. Young ones will always be feisty, let them be. A female elder said. 7 devils in total, you were all selected under the condition that we believe that all of you are capable kings and have the pedigree to back it up. Say for one. You will all compete in the games, this is a way to improve on your powers and work around or even better, overcome your weaknesses. Serena said and glanced over to Issei. Sirzechs raised his hand, garnering Serena's attention. Yes Sirzechs? Serena asked. Lucifer-sama, are we going to be sent out to fight the Cows Brigade? He asked. I don't know, however, it is in our best interest to prevent that. Serena answered. Why? We may be young, but it is also our responsibility. Sirzechs was cut off. Sirzechs, I commend you for your bravery, but you are being reckless here. With all things considered, I'd like to avoid sending you out, losing even one of you will be a great loss for us. This is why I want you all to understand your value, take it slow and grow from new things that you will experience in the coming years. Serena said. I understand, Lucifer-sama. Sirzechs answered with a slightly dissatisfied face. How will the games proceed, Lucifer? Counting that there are 7 participants, we'll have to give one of them a bye. Serena said. Who will you give it to? I say Sirzechs, he's the strongest amongst them. That's where I doubt that. The latest one to appear may be undermanned, but they are all powerful. Serena cryptically said. And who might that be? Do you see the boy in the red coat? Serena pointed at Issei, with Issei looking around, wondering if Serena pointed at him. Yes, but we don't even sense him, he's barely there. That's because he doesn't want you to sense him, he can lower his presence so much, it's like he doesn't even exist. Serena said. Who is he? If you haven't heard from all the citizens, that is Issei Hyoudou. And yes, he is a living descendant of him, Serena said. Preposterous. His bloodline died with his twin sons. According to Azazel, there's 3 of them, one is his mother, who we've met and seen in action, the other is the Dark Slayer's son, and Issei is the youngest. Serena said. Where would you rank him amongst the 7? Ajuka spoke. To be completely honest, he's the strongest, Sererg Baal, Riaz Gremory, Sona Sitri, Sikvera Agares, Diodora Astaroth, and Zephyr Glacier Labol is in that order. Serena admitted. I completely agree. Ajuka added his sentiment. Indeed. Now, I will announce to our youth their competition, Serena said. After a short discussion about your matches, here are the matchups. Team Gremory vs Team Sitri, Team Sparta vs Team Glacial Labolas, and Team Astaroth vs Team Agares. Team Baal gets a bye by our decision. Serena announced. Now to end this long day, how about we discuss your goal? We'll start with you, Sererg. Serena said. My goal is to become a Mau. Sererg declared. It's unusual for a devil from the Great King to leave, why so? It's simply what I strive to be, even if I have no inherent powers from my family, I will still work to achieve it. Sererg drove his point further. My goal is to become the next head of the Gremory clan, and to be a rating game champion, Riaz declared, though in the back of mind, she knew that she was very far from it. The other devils said their goals until it was only Sona and Issei left. My goal is to build a rating game school. Sona declared. Aren't there schools for such? Yes, there are, but only high-class devils get to enter such. My dream is to build a school where even the lower class and reincarnated devils can attend without discrimination. Sona answered and adjusted her glasses. The laughter of the elders echoed across the assembly hall. That is impossible. Brilliant. So, you're a little girl who dreams. It's wonderful to be young. However, for the next Sitri family head to express such a goal, it's nearly preposterous. The elders mocked Sona's dream. I'm serious. Sona said in a cold tone. Sitri Dono, low-class devils and reincarnated devils are only chosen for their talent and work for their high-class devil masters. Wouldn't constructing such a training facility cause the old families, who value tradition and prestige, to lose face? No matter how many individuals claim that the world of devils is changing, change can be both good and bad. Teaching simple low-class devils is completely unimportant to you. Why are you all looking down on Sona-sama's dream? We've been listening idly, but this is something we can no longer tolerate, we are being serious here. Saji spoke, showing his full support to his king's dream. Watch your tongue, reincarnated devil, Sitri Dono, your pawn hasn't been trained properly yet. My apologies, I will speak to him later. Sona said, but relief can be seen on her face. Haichu, why? Why do you remain quiet when they trample all over your dream? Saji said. Enough, Saji, I simply told them my goal. Sona said, no longer wanting a word from Saji. In that case, you won't have any issues if my Sona-chan wins big in the games, right? Since many benefits are granted by getting good results in the games. Serafal spoke, but it was pretty obvious that she was pissed off. If you old farts team up on my Sona-chan again, I will make sure to torment each one of you. Serafal said in her cutesy voice, but was ominous to those who heard it. Sona Sitri, I will root for your goal, best of luck. Serena said. Now, lastly, Issei Hyoudou, may we please hear your goal? Serena said as all eyes were on Issei. Nothing much, I just want to fight and live freely. Issei nonchalantly said, Serena giving him an awkward smile in response. That was anticlimactic. Very well. Riaz Dono, Sona Dono, since you two are the first match, any words for each other? Serena asked the two heiresses. I won't lose to you, Riaz. Sona had a confident smile on her face. Likewise, Sona, I don't plan on losing either. Riaz said, matching her rival's confidence. Dates and other details of the matches will be sent to you all at a later time, until then, use the time given to you as you would like. The gathering ended with everyone leaving the room, except for the 3 mass, Asmodeus left to tuck in. So, Serafal, how do you feel? Serena said, consoling her friend. I am fuming, Serena-chan, how dare they mock my Sona-chan like that? Serafal bellowed. It's gonna be fine, Serafal, your sister has great potential, she's probably the smartest out of all of them. Ajuka added in. That is true, what she lacks in strength she makes up for it in tactics, I guess. Serafal said, managing to calm down. That said, Riaz won't lose. Serena said. I'd like to see her try. Serafal retorted as sparks flew across their faces. Always the competitive types, huh? Ejuka deadpanned. Bremery main residence. Issei and Riaz along with their peerages returned to the main residence where they were greeted by Azazel, who was sitting in the lounge with Kalina. Welcome back, and I'm here with the details for your match with Sona Citri, Riaz. Azazel spoke. Oh? When will it be? Riaz asked. 20 days from now. Azazel answered. I'm assuming that you'll use the time to train us. Riaz asked again. Yeah, I hope that we can start tomorrow. I already have training regimes prepared for all of you. Azazel announced to the group. Is it legal to get advice from the Governor General? Issei asked. Not really, it's up to the devils to accept my help or not. Azazel shrugged. Everyone, the hot spring bath is ready. Riaz excitedly announced. The men and women were separated into their separate baths, with the men in the bottom bath and the women situated at the top where the water falls into the men's bath. Ah, feels different from the one at home, maybe it's the open air that makes this feel better. Issei said, relaxing in the bath. You're right about that, open air baths are the best. Azazel said and unfurled his 12 wings. Issei-kun, want me to wash your back? Kiba said while lightly blushing. No, I'll wash Issei senpai's back. Gasper butted in. I'll pass, but thanks, both of you. Issei said amused. By the way, Issei, have ever tried poking Ria's breasts? Azazel asked. No, but I do enjoy sucking on them. Issei answered. You should give it a try, makes them go crazy, the best feeling is when it envelops your entire finger. Azazel said amused. Maybe I'll give it a go. Issei said. Hey Ice. Wanna join us here? Vali asked from the top. No. Issei waved off his queen. Come on. We bathe in your place, why can't we do it here? Vali yelled. It has gender labels for a reason. Issei retorted. No. You're coming here, right now. Vali yelled again. I'm staying where I'm sat, Vali. Issei said, planting himself. I would disagree, boyo. Azazel said and attempted to throw Issei. The latter moved away just in time before Azazel could grab him. Damn it, I tried. Azazel sighed. Nice try. Issei chuckled. Girl's bath. Well. He's not going in here. Vali sighed. Don't feel too bad, Vali. Tiamat spoke. Riaz? Vali called said, glancing over to Riaz. Yes. Riaz answered. How's Ice in bed? Vali bluntly asked. Riaz had a devious smirk on her first, recalling her first time with Issei. He'll do what you want, but as soon as he goes wild, it'll feel really good. Riaz said. Tiamat? Vali asked again, wanting an answer from a dragon this time. Oh, he's aggressive and knows where to get you good. Tiamat answered. No fair, you two already did with him, Naya. Kuroka butted in. I wonder how it feels. Lavinia cupped her cheek. He was a pervert, so it was only a matter of time till he needed to blow off some steam. Riaz said. The pervert and an asshole, great. Vali sarcastically said. But you have to admit, he's got a heart of gold and honest as anyone can be. Riaz said. I agree with Riaz Wani-sama. Asia spoke. He can be scary though. Zenobia added. Yeah, even I'm scared of him sometimes, the thought that he hasn't even used his full power brings shivers down my spine. Riaz said. You said it, but doesn't it excite you as well? Who the poor soul is that'll decide to cross the line? Vali remarked. One thing is for sure, if that happens, that person will die, no questions asked. Riaz admitted. Riaz, I've always wondered, how strong is he? I've asked Tiamat and the others, but I wanted to hear it from you, since you're the closest to him. Lavinia asked. He played around with Kakabiel and easily shut down Vali here. Riaz answered. Is that so? I joined the right peerage then. Lavinia smiled. Why did you join him in the first place? Riaz asked. At first it was just genuine attraction to him, but now it's more of that and a gained curiosity from his family's history. Like most of us, we've only heard of Sparta from books and stories. With him and Kalina-san, the source is right there, and I want to know more about them. Lavinia answered. Does he even plan on competing? Akeno asked. He's bound to, it's a chance to fight Saraerg, and he can't possibly say no to that. Riaz said amused. Let's just hope that we won't go up against you guys. Akeno giggled. His main target is that Saraerg guy, gotta admit, he's pretty strong. Vali said. I wonder how things will go. Tiamat spoke. Just having you around him makes him a contender already, Tiamat. Riaz chuckled. Well, being a dragon king does have its perks. Tiamat giggled. Bremery main residence. The next day arrives, Azazel requested that the Sparta and Gremery peerage all gather in the residence's garden for their training regime. Alright, here are the plans that I have for all of you. It's mainly a collaborative effort between your two groups, but I've sorted all of you out to maximize your growth. Azazel announced. Riaz, you will train with your mother as she's the only one who can help you train with your power of destruction. I didn't want to get your sister involved in this for obvious reasons. Secondly, I want you to study being more of a king for your servants, and as much as you'll hate hearing me say this, but you lack the strategic mind that's crucial for competing. And you tend to spoil your servants. I need you to look at footage, documented games, anything that can give you data and learn from them. Seems basic, but you all need to improve on the basics. This isn't stray devil hunting anymore, it's competition now. Azazel sternly said. Understood. Riaz answered. Akeno. You need to accept your other half. Azazel said as Akeno frowned in response. Look, you limit yourself with thunder attacks, that's only a fraction of your true power. If you don't use your light powers, you'll end up left in the dust. Azazel said. I'm fine, I don't need to use that power. Akeno scowled. Azazel sighed. Don't deny it, Akeno, it's what you are, the more you deny it, the weaker you will get. When you learn to accept it, even the harshest of truths, you will grow exponentially. Azazel lectured the queen. Akeno only looked down in silence. I think you have a vague idea of who you will train with. Azazel said. Next is Kiba and Zenobia. You two will train with Vali and Tiamat, but Kiba, I also need you to maintain your balance breaker for a longer period than what you're capable of, a full day at least. Then if you want to train your swordsmanship more, you can approach Issei or your original teacher. Azazel said as the two knights gave him a nod. I'll go with Sensei, I want to start from scratch again, I'll join in later with Zenobia. Kiba spoke. Good. Azazel glanced over to Zenobia. Zenobia, I'll have you wield Durandal for the entire duration of the regime, I need you to handle that sword, as if it were a part of you. Azazel added. I'll do my best. Zenobia spoke. Asper, you're up. I'll have you train with Issei, you work well with him, and you two have similar powers. Why yes. Gasper answered. Asia, you're with Lavinia, you can heal your team with your sacred gear, but you lack ways to protect yourself. Lavinia here will provide you with a lot of spells and improve your healing powers too, maybe even make it so that it can heal from a distance. Azazel said as Lavinia approached the bishop. I look forward to training you, Asia-chan. Lavinia cheerfully said. Kaneko, you're with Kuroka, training with your sister not only benefits your overall strength, but will also unlock your latent power. Azazel said. Okay. Kaneko said in her monotone voice. Suddenly, Tannen swooped over and landed close to the group. Tannen, what brings you here? Azazel asked. I've come to speak with Drake's host. Tannen spoke glancing over to Issei. Issei hearing that, paced his way over to Tannen. What is it? He asked. Do you remember the favor you asked of me to train you on being more of a dragon? Well, my answer is yes. Tannen said. Alright, thank you. Do you mind if I take Gasper with me? I'm tasked with training him and his abilities. Issei requested. I don't mind, as long as you progress, it's fine with me. Tannen nodded. Great, come on Gasper, we're going. Issei deployed his wings, Gasper doing the same. Let me stop you there. Tannen said. What's wrong? Issei asked. You can't train to be a dragon if you're not one in the first place. Tannen said amused. Oh, right. Issei awkwardly said. Issei flew up and transformed into his dragon form in its full size, towering over Tannen by a considerable amount. Hop on, Gasper. Issei said. Gasper was frightened at first, but soon complied. Oh okay, Issei-senpai. He said and rode on the back of Issei's head. Follow me to the mountains, that's where we're going. Tannen took to the air. Lead the way. Issei said as the trio flew out, leaving the rest to their own. Vali upon seeing Issei's dragon form was admittedly jealous. So, Albion, do I get a dragon form too? Vali asked, wanting confirmation from her partner in crime. Unfortunately, no, your dragonification was done by magical means, unlike Drake's host who was born a halfling. Albion answered. Well, that sucks. Vali sighed. It's always a treat to see his dragon form. Tiamat cupped one of her cheeks. I still don't get how those wings of his glow. Riaz pondered. You'd be all surprised to learn that his grandfather Dante and his twin brother Virgil had similar wings, here. Azazel said and presented the group with an illustration of Dante and Virgil's Sin Devil trigger forms. Wow, they look rather bright, you think Issei has something similar? Riaz asked. Who knows? We haven't seen it yet, not fully at least. Azazel answered. Underworld, Tannen's territory. So, where's this place we're going to? Issei asked, flying behind Tannen. We're going to the mountains near my territory. Tannen answered. Alright. Is that the place? Issei asked again, spotting a mountain range. Yeah, we can land by the foot of it over there. Tannen answered, beginning his descent. The trio landed with Gasper jumping down to inspect the place. Not afraid anymore, Gasper? Issei asked, amused. I'm still shaky, but I'm getting used to it. Gasper answered. Good. Issei said. Alright, we can begin. Tannen spoke. If you finish our training, Gasper, I have a reward for you. Issei said. I look forward to it, Issei-senpai. Gasper said. The training period mostly benefited the Gremory peerage, with the Sparta peerage more or so being the mentors for all the members. Asia, with the help of Lavinia, grew exponentially and is now able to heal at long range, control over ice magic, and overall improvements to her kit, learning both offensive and defensive spells. Tiba is now capable of holding his balance breaker for a week straight and drastically got better with his swordsmanship, with the training of his master, Souji Akita, and Zenobia advanced in her mastery of Durandal. Kaneko unlocked her latent powers, fully transforming into her Nekashu form, sprouting her cat ears and twin white tails, now being able to use Senjutsu, Yujutsu, and Tauki, specializing in Senjutsu. The Kendo can use Holy Lightning, thanks to her father, Barakiel's training. Despite the rocky start, she pulled through nonetheless, and Ria's improved overall with her studying of strategies and training sessions with her mother. Gasper and Issei, on the other hand, had a blast with Tannen. Issei learned tactics from Tannen and ways that his kind would go about a battle. Gasper, with the physically tolling training Issei and Tannen made him go through, dramatically changed him. He looked more muscular, and he learned hand-to-hand combat from Issei, along with a few lessons on swordsmanship. The cherry on top for Gasper was his act of conquering his hatred for blood. It took him quite a while to accept it, but with Issei and Tannen encouraging him to embrace his vampiric nature, ingested a portion of Issei's blood, gaining a greater level of control and precision over his power, and the ability to transform into bats, allowing him to stop multiple targets in time. Gremory main residence. Issei and Gasper made their way to the main residence's garden, where Azazel was waiting for the two. How's Tannen? And how did Gasper get so buff? Azazel asked, amused at the sight of Issei and Gasper with their burned clothes. He taught everything he knew about being a dragon. Gasper here went through hell with the old geezer and I's training, and speaking of which, I remembered that Gasper has a reward for going through it successfully. Issei explained and opened his pocket dimension. Oh, what could it be for the not-so-little damper? Azazel mused. Issei pulled out Dr. Faust and tossed it on Gasper's head, the latter feeling joyous for getting such a weapon from Issei. Issei-senpai, am I really worthy to use this? Gasper asked, who was still in shock. Of course, you are, you're more fitted to use that more than I am. Issei said. How do I use it? Gasper excitedly asked. Focus your energy into it, and to use it is like how you would use a gun. You can automatically fire it, tap with it, or for a finishing move charge it for a while, and cause a mini meteor shower. Issei instructed. I see, can you show me how? Gasper asked. Okay, but we gotta move away from here. Issei said and took off. Now this I have to see. Azazel followed the pair. The three of them moved away from the main residence and went to an isolated part of a nearby forest where Issei put on Dr. Faust for his demonstration. Alright, when you focus your energy in it, you'll see the scarf appear. The scarf represents how much energy you have. The shorter it gets, the less ammo you have, and of course the more exhausted you'll get. To fire the thing, focus your energy into your hands, and eventually, crystals will come out, expending your energy. The longer you shoot, the faster it gets. Now to really mess someone's day up, you charge this baby for a while, like so. Issei posed and charged up Dr. Faust. Seconds pass, and both Azazel and Gasper could feel the immense pressure coming from Issei's charged attack. Issei released the charged attack. It was followed by numerous boulder-sized crystals dropping down, creating deep craters in various areas of the forest. I'd like to get my hands on that thing, packs quite the punch. Azazel remarked. It works pretty simple actually. Once you wear it and focus your energy or power into it, it immediately amplifies and concentrates the power you put in, and you can go ham with shooting it. Issei explained. Can I try it? Gasper asked. Sure, it's yours anyways. Issei gave the hat to Gasper. Gasper focused his energy on the hat, and a pinkish-red scarf materialized on his neck, its length going just a few inches from the ground. He gestured his hands the way Issei did, and to his delight, crystal orbs fired at a rapid pace straight from his hands. Gasper then donned the same pose Issei did, and charged Dr. Faust up. After a while he released the attack, and the same barrage went down, though with fewer crystals, but it still did significant damage to his surroundings. Good job, you already got the hang of it. Issei patted Gasper's back. Wow, this is really cool, Issei-senpai, thank you. Gasper said in joy. Do me proud. Issei happily said and smacked Gasper's back again. It's nice that you two are getting along well, but could you two put on some clothes on? Azazel asked. Oh, right. Issei awkwardly said and snapped his fingers. There we go, all fresh. Let's go back. Issei said. The trio made their way back to the main residence where they were met by the rest of the Gremory and Sparta peerage. You three look happy. Ria spoke. Yeah, we are, especially Gasper here. Issei grinned. How so? Riaz asked. Show them Gasper. Issei said. Gasper summoned his new hat and posed where everyone who saw it was amazed at how good he looked while wearing the hat. You gave him one of your weapons? Riaz asked. Yeah, I felt that he'll do better with it than me, I more or so just go in and smack everyone. Issei explained. I see, and he looks more muscular than before. Riaz remarked. Of course, he needs to learn how to rough someone up. Issei said amused. Only one way to find out if he got stronger. Riaz giggled. Why don't we rest up, your match with Sona is very soon. Issei proposed as everyone agreed and left the scene, apart from him and Azazel. The atmosphere around the two was casual, but with a hint of tension. Issei had a few things in mind as to what Azazel might say, but he wanted to hear from the Governor General himself to confirm. Spill it out, I know you've got something on your mind. Issei broke the ice. Yeah, it's about Akeno. Azazel answered. What about her? Issei asked. What do you think about her? Azazel asked. She's very attractive, kind. But she's held back if we're talking about her strength. Issei answered. I see, it was my job to watch over her for an old friend of mine. Azazel said. Erekiel, right. One of your subordinates. Issei replied. Yeah, but I don't see him as that. He, Shemhazai and I were close buds, we did a lot of stupid shit together, but then they all got wives and kids, except for me that is. Azazel chuckled. Can't you find a woman for yourself? Issei asked amused. Yeah, I could, but research calls for me. Azazel answered. My love life aside, I'm very concerned about Akeno and Barakiel's relationship. I may not be in a place where I can say anything, but I genuinely do care about them. Azazel sighed. That's normal, since he's your friend and all. Issei said. True, but I'm thinking of entrusting her to you. Azazel dropped a bombshell on Issei. Why me all of a sudden? Issei asked. You're very intuitive, rough on the edges, but above all else, you don't discriminate against her or to any of the races you come across. Azazel admitted. Thanks. I guess. Issei shrugged. It's just you, Issei, but please, watch over her for me. Azazel requested. I will, she already attaches herself to me, so I'll take her under my wing anytime. Issei answered. Thank you. Azazel sincerely said. That's it guys. We've reached the latest chapter of the story, but not the end. Hopefully in the future I'll add more parts if the author add more chapter. But that take care.